Okay, so personal finance. Have you ever just felt completely lost? I mean, there's so much jargon, right?
Yeah.
So many products, advice that seems to go back and forth. It's kind of exhausting before you even start.
Oh, absolutely. It's really common. You get this flood of information, and a lot of it feels super complex or like you need to act now.
Hmm.
It definitely creates a kind of paralysis for people.
Yeah, where do you even begin? Who do you trust?
Exactly.
And that's really why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We're looking at a source that just slices right through all that complexity. It's the Index Card, Essential Financial Wisdom
Mhm.
by Harold Pollack and Helaine Olen.
Ah, yes, the famous index card.
Right. It's got this great origin story. Harold Pollack, he's a public policy professor, and he literally just scribbled down the basic financial rules you need onto an actual index card.
And it went viral, just like that.
Totally viral because it's so clear, so accessible. And then he teamed up with Helaine Olen, a journalist, to sort of flesh out those core ideas into this, well, really practical guide.
And what's so powerful about it, I think, is how it pushes back against this idea that you need some secret Wall Street knowledge or, complicated strategies.
Hmm.
They basically argue that a few simple bedrock principles, if you just stick to them, are way more effective than chasing the next hot tip or some complex scheme.
So that's our mission today, really, to unpack that core idea that everything you really need to know fits on that one card. We're going to try and distill the most important stuff, focusing on, simplicity, discipline, common sense.
Cutting through the noise.
Exactly. Cut through the jargon, the noise, and hopefully give you some straightforward, actionable stuff. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the book kicks off with something that sounds almost too simple. Just save and invest consistently.
Mm,
Easy to say, right? But often, that's the bit people struggle with the most. Why is this simple idea actually so hard?
Well, it's the foundation, isn't it? But yeah, it gets pushed aside for things that sound more exciting. The book really hammers home this idea of living within your means, but maybe more importantly, automating your savings.
Automating.
Yeah, the whole pay yourself first concept. Set up those transfers to savings to your retirement account automatically before you even have a chance to spend it. The hard part is, delaying gratification.
Hmm.
But the book makes such a strong case that this boring consistency, not trying to guess the market, not chasing quick wins, is the most critical thing for actually building wealth long term. It's the compounding, working steadily over decades. Boring, maybe, but incredibly powerful.
It really does sound almost too simple when you hear about all these complex hedge fund strategies and whatnot. But okay, so we're saving consistently. Then the book gets specific about where that money should go, right? Especially tax-advantaged retirement accounts.
Yes, definitely. Things like 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs.
And everyone talks about the employer match, like don't leave free money on the table. But what's the deeper advantage the book highlights?
Right. The match is crucial. Absolutely grab that free money. But the bigger, maybe less appreciated leverage is the power of tax deferral or, with Roths, tax-free growth.
Yeah.
Think about it. Your investments inside these accounts grow year after year, decade after decade, without getting hit by taxes annually. That compounding effect, without the drag of taxes each year, it's like rocket fuel for your savings over the long haul. It really accelerates wealth building in a way that's hard to beat otherwise.
That makes sense. Not just the immediate match, but the long-term tax shield letting it grow faster.
Okay.
So we're building wealth, but what about things that tear it down? Let's talk debt, specifically credit card debt. And the book is pretty blunt about this, isn't it?
Oh, incredibly blunt, and for very good reason. It basically says high-interest credit card debt is one of the biggest, maybe the biggest obstacle to building wealth. Full stop.
Not just a hurdle, like an anchor.
Exactly, a financial anchor. But the way the book frames it is powerful. Paying off a credit card that's charging you, say, 18% interest, that's like getting a guaranteed tax-free 18% return on your money.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
Where else are you going to find that kind of guaranteed return? Especially with zero risk compared to the market. So the advice is crystal clear. If you have credit card debt, paying that off needs to be your absolute #1 priority before you seriously invest elsewhere.
That's a really potent way to think about it. A guaranteed return by paying down debt.
Wow.
So control what you can, like that high interest debt. Once that's under control, then investing. But the index card sort of pushes back against the whole exciting idea of picking the next Amazon or Tesla, right?
It really does. It strongly advises against chasing hot stocks or trying to beat the market, which, goes against a lot of what you hear in the financial media.
Definitely.
Instead, it recommends simple, low-cost, broad market index funds. Think funds that track the S&P 500 or the total stock market.
Why those specifically?
Because the evidence is overwhelming. These boring index funds consistently outperform most actively managed funds, especially over the long term once you factor in fees. You're not gambling on one company, you're just participating in the overall growth of the economy. Efficiently, patiently.
That patience part feels tough sometimes, doesn't it? Especially like on social media, everyone seems to be making quick money on some random stock or crypto. How does the book suggest people resist that pressure?
It really leans on the data. Look, the book points out study after study shows that even most professional money managers don't consistently beat the market average, especially after their fees.
Right.
So if the pros struggle to do it reliably, why would an individual investor think they have an edge? Index funds basically let you bet on the whole system growing over time, which historically it does, instead of trying the incredibly difficult task of picking winners. It saves you stress, saves you fees, and statistically gives you a better shot at good returns.
Okay, that makes sense. Accept the market return, don't try to beat it.
Yeah.
Now, related to fees and advice, finding good financial advice is tricky. The index card has some specific warnings here, especially about advisors. What's the key thing to watch out for?
Yeah, this is super important. It really boils down to whose interests are being served. The book warns that many advisors, they push products that make them money, not necessarily what's best for you.
The commission problem.
Exactly. They get paid to sell you product X, whether or not product Y might be a better fit for your actual goals. So the index card is very clear. If you need advice, look for fee-only advisors who are also fiduciaries.
Okay, unpack that. Fee-only and fiduciary.
Fee-only means they're paid directly by you, maybe a flat fee or an hourly rate or a percentage of the assets they manage for you. They aren't getting commissions for selling specific products. And fiduciary means they have a legal duty to put your interests first, always. Those two things together help remove that conflict of interest.
Got it. Aligning their incentives with yours. Okay, so we've covered saving, investing, debt, advice. But the book also talks about protection, right? Insurance.
Yes, absolutely. It's a crucial piece often forgotten in the excitement of investing. The principle is basically that insurance is essential, but for protecting against catastrophic risks.
Big stuff, not small stuff.
Precisely. Things that could totally wipe you out financially. Think major health problems, so health insurance, becoming disabled and unable to work, disability insurance, dying unexpectedly when people depend on your income life insurance, losing your home to a fire homeowner's insurance. The advice is nuanced. Don't overinsure small risks, but never underinsure big ones. So maybe skip the extended warranty on your toaster, you can afford a new one. But don't skimp on health or disability coverage because those costs could be devastating.
Right, manage the big potential vulnerabilities. As we go through these, it feels like we keep coming back to one central idea. Simplicity.
It really is the thread running through everything, isn't it?
Yeah, in a financial world that seems to love complexity, the book is almost radical in its push for keeping things simple.
It totally is. The final principles really drive this home. Like, don't overcomplicate your financial plan. Forget the exotic investments, the constant buying and selling based on headlines, the speculation.
All that noise again?
Exactly. All that noise often leads to bad emotional decisions. Instead, the book just advocates sticking to that disciplined long-term approach. Broad market funds, regular contributions. It's not just about lowering risk. It frees up so much mental energy and reduces the chances of making those big, costly mistakes.
And it's easy to get so focused on the dollars and cents, the strategies.
Yeah.
But the index card ends on a more philosophical note, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About what money's actually for.
It does, and it's such an important perspective. It reminds us that, yes, financial stability is great. It supports a good life. But real happiness, that also comes from relationships, health, finding meaning in what you do. The book essentially says money is a tool. A very useful tool, but not the ultimate goal itself. It's there to build a foundation so you can live a richer, fuller life with less financial stress. Not for the money to become the sole focus. It's the why behind all the how-tos.
That really puts everything in context. So let's try and synthesize this. If someone listening takes away just a few core ideas from the index card, what should they be, those main aha moments?
Okay, yeah. If I had to boil it down, I'd say 4 things really stand out. First, Simplicity wins. You don't need complicated Wall Street wizardry. The basic rules work.
Okay, simple beats complex.
Second, consistency is king. Saving and investing regularly, month in, month out, that's way more powerful than trying to make a quick buck or guess the market's next move.
Consistency matters most.
Got it.
Third, control what you can control. You can control your spending, your debt, the fees you pay. You can't control the market. Focus your energy where it counts.
Right, focus on your own actions. And finally, maybe the most empowering one. Anyone can do this. You don't need a finance degree or a huge starting pot. These principles are accessible. They work for everyone if you apply them.
Simple, consistent, controlled, and accessible. That's powerful stuff. So as people listening think about their own financial journey, what's a final thought to leave them with?
I think it's that the index card really does strip personal finance down to its absolute essentials. It cuts through the overwhelming feeling by showing that, honestly, a few timeless, simple rules, if you follow them with discipline, are enough. It's about empowerment through clarity, not complexity.
And maybe that leaves us with a final provocative question for you listening. In a world that's always trying to sell you complicated, expensive financial solutions, think about this: how much peace of mind, how much real freedom could you gain by just embracing this kind of radical simplicity? Could sticking to these basic index card rules actually be the most empowering financial move you ever make? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.